So the first step that we started last time was just to set up like a structure for the whole program. So we have process instruction. This is the function that is called by something called entry point. Entry point is being called in order to enter this program, right? As the name suggests. And in Rust also we would have seen entry point, which is more like a constructor. So the process instruction takes a program ID, set of accounts that contain those are the accounts that this program will deal with, and instruction data. The instruction data will contain the first field of this instruction data array will contain the function name that we want to call, and the rest of the parameters will contain arguments and other associated things. So instruction data to a Solana contract, also called as program in Solana, actually just sends the instruction to this program as to what this program is supposed to do. So we have some checks like instruction data length should not be 0, because of course you need to tell the program what to do, right? And the zeroth element of the instruction data will contain which function should be called. So in this particular piece of code, we have three functions. One is creating a campaign, one is withdrawing from the campaign, and another one is donate. So if the zeroth element is 0, then we call the create campaign function. If it is 1, then we call the withdraw function. If it is 2, then we call the donate function. Simple, straightforward. Accounts, again, there is, if you are new to Solana and you're new to Solana programming model, everything in Solana is stored in accounts. If you're coming from a Solidity background or an Llvm background, it is slightly difficult or it is slightly different to comprehend in a way, because in Solidity, all the variables and their values are actually stored on the contract. Whereas in Solana, they have something called the accounts model, where all the variables, basically all the storage associated with the contract, will be stored in accounts. It could be one account, it could be multiple accounts, depending on the logic that you're working with. And then there is one more concept called program derived accounts in Solana, which means that the programs themselves or these contracts can actually have accounts that they can control, and they can put in data, they can access the data that is stored in these accounts. So there is an accounts model that you need to understand a little bit more in detail. We have discussed this in one of the earlier sessions as well, and going forward also we will discuss the other blog written by Abhishek, which is on program derived accounts. It's a very good blog, and I think as we go more and more complex, we need to really understand what it means to be a program derived account, what is the syntax and how it works, etc. So yeah, we'll do that in a bit later session. This crowdfunding app probably does not need us to know that much information. So all right, and in the last section, we did the create campaign function that we have already written. So first is the campaign details struct that we created, which has the admin, who is the admin of this campaign. What is the name? What is the description of this campaign? Is there an image link? These are all string. And what is the amount that is donated to this campaign, right? Okay, in a waiting room. I'm going to admit some folks. Okay, then this will be the basic struct which we will be using in the code. Then we have Bosch, which is used for serializing and deserializing data. So this is also something that comes directly from the basically this directly comes from this Bosch crate, right? So in Rust we import dependencies in the form of crates. Then, as I said, that we need to use this syntax called entry point in order to call the function that we have written. So our parent function is called process instruction. This is just a way like that we write programs in Solana. The function is called the process instruction because we are actually processing the instructions, right, given to this program. And entry point is a macro that, so anything after the exclamation, we call them macros in Rust. So entry point is a macro which will be called when we are going to enter into this program. So when we call this macro, we call the process instruction function. All right. So just get away with this. Okay. We wrote the campaign details struct last time, and we wrote the create campaign function as well. So basically for the create campaign function, the first thing we did was we took all the accounts. We created an iterator for all the accounts. And the first account is the writing account, which is the program account, which they have mentioned that they will create in the front end. And this should be owned by the Solana program. So like I said, there'll be program derived accounts, which will be owned by the program itself, because everything is stored in the accounts. Now, creator account. So creator account is the account of the admin or the person who will be creating the campaign, right? We are going to get, so all of the accounts will be getting from the iterator. That is actually the iterator created for the accounts that we're passing to this particular function. Now, if the creator account is not the signer, then we can't proceed because the creator account is the admin and they should be the signer. If the writing account is not the program, then again this is an error because the program, so as they say that the writing account should be owned by the program. So if it is not equal to the program ID, again this is an error that we're throwing. Now the input data itself that we are going to get from the instruction data. As I said, the instruction data array will have the program function name followed by the arguments or whatever you want to pass to this function. Now to this function, in order to initialize the campaign structure, which is what we will initialize while creating the campaign, we will be passing all the data in the instruction data. So we say from the input data, now we can extract certain things. So if you go back to the campaign struct, there is an admin, right? So we are saying that if the admin is not equal to the creator account key, then it is an error. It's an invalid instruction. And then the rent exemption part we have already discussed, that we check the length of the writing account, that is the program account itself, and we create a rent. We need to retrieve the minimum balance that we need in order for our program account to able to store things, right? We need to pay some rent for the account to store some data. And then we make sure that our account actually has that much balance. Now, Lampots is something that is like, if you're coming from Solidity, it is similar to Way, which is a smaller denomination of souls, right? Which is the more popular. So initially the input amount donated, sorry, the amount donated is 0 because right now the campaign is just being created. Then we just serialize the data, so we are able to write it on the accounts, right? So we are just doing that. Now the next thing that we did last time was the withdraw request. For the withdraw request, there is an amount, how much they want to withdraw. And that's pretty much it, right? The other things we will check in the contract, whether this person is the admin, blah, 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 things like that. So again, we have the withdraw function, which has the program ID, accounts, instruction data. If you see the original Solana, the way we write, not Anchor, but Solana programs, you will see that the arguments are pretty much the same. It's the program ID, the accounts, and the instruction data. Everything that we send to this program will be within these 3 arguments. Okay. Again, the accounts iteration, we get all the accounts from this particular accounts, account info, reference to the account info array. We are getting the writing account. We get the admin account. Why do we need the admin account? Because only the admin account has the ability to withdraw, right? So we do all the checks, whether the writing account owner is a program ID, the same check that we did here earlier. Where did that go? Here, this one, right? Why do we need to do this check? Writing account is nothing but an account that can actually write the changes, right? So we need to ensure that only the program can actually write the changes. Nobody else should be able to come and write the changes. The admin account should be the signer in this transaction. Obviously, only admins can withdraw the money. Right? So this is it. Now we actually work on the logic where we are getting the money or getting the amount from the campaign. So we are going to get the so campaign data again. We are getting from the writing account. So the writing account, that is the programs account, has some data, right? It has written some data. So the campaign data is coming from there, right? We will use it for the writing accounts data. And then we make some other checks whether this particular campaign is actually being owned by this admin or not. And then we extract the input data, which will contain the amount that needs to be withdrawn. In this rent exemption, we are getting the rent that is required for the storage of this account. Then we check whether the current amount that we have minus the rent exemption, is the input data amount greater than that? If yes, we throw an error, because you still need to pay for the rent. You can't ask for a higher amount. If you have collected 50 souls, you can't ask to withdraw 60 souls, right? That is one way of thinking about it. Another is, if you have collected 50 souls and X amount is the rent, then you are basically you need to let the X amount be for the storage or for the rent, right? And be only able to withdraw the 50 souls. So that's what we are doing here. Let me admit. And now, after we have figured out all the checks, what we are doing is very simple. The balance of this particular amount, right? We subtract by the input data amount, and we add the admin accounts balance, that is the account that is trying to withdraw, with this input data amount. So this is very simple and straightforward. Okay, so this is where we stopped, and this is where we need to continue with. Are there any questions from the last time? People entering the room. Okay. Oops. Okay. All right. So then let's start with the donate campaign. So now we want to donate to the campaign. However, we can't decrease the balance of an account not owned by our program in our program, because everywhere we are checking that the program ID owns this particular account, right? So only the program is able to alter the balance of that particular account. So what they're saying is, because of that, we can't just transfer the balance as we did in the withdraw function, where we have just like added and subtracted, because the writing account is actually holding the balance. So it is able to subtract, right? But in this case, what they're saying is, an account not assigned to the program cannot have its balance decrease, apparently, according to Solana policies. What these policies are, I think we have to go through that. So for this, we will create a program owned account in our front end and then perform the SOL token transaction. Okay. So before that, let's start. Okay. So here is our donate function. Let us do the usual. We do the accounts iteration. dot iter is basically, it will create an iterator for this particular, it's like being able to access an array. Uh, so that's what it creates. Let me see if I can. So there is this, Rust has a iter inside their standard uh, library. So it's basically just like this. So if we have an array, we can create an iterator which will iterate over this array. So using this iterator, you can say like dot next, then dot next, like a pointer. It will keep moving. Uh, where are we? So when we say next, so I think this is some wrap library, but basically what this is doing is it's just moving the iterator on the accounts. That's it. Just going to- So the first account is going to be the writing account. That's the program account. Then the second account that they're going to be sending from the front end is going to be the donators program account. Oh, that's the one they are saying that they will create a new program owned account and then use that to transfer the soul. You have to understand the policy a little bit more. I am also not very clear on why it is the way it is. That's there's a question mark. Right. Oh, for the fallback. So we have declared, I mean, we have picked up all our accounts in the front end. We get three accounts. First is the program owned account containing the data of the campaign we want to donate to. Then we have a donator program account, which is also the program account that only has Lamport we would like to donate. Then we have the account of the donator. Okay. Next account info, Pratik asked what is next account info. From my understanding, this is just like a wrapper. So this is doing something similar to what this syntax was doing here. This dot next, right? It will give you access to the next element in the array. So this next account info, this must be a wrapper that is given by the Solana SDK or the crate, this crate, whatever crate we have taken, this Solana program crate. Account info is this, you can see account info is the crate they have, which has next account info. So this must be just like this, the dot next, just that they have created a wrapper for it. That's all. So this is doing nothing but like iterating the next, like that. So this is giving access to the first element in this iterator. This is giving the next one. This is giving the next one, etc. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Twitter. All right. So we have three accounts now. When we will create it in our front end, although we do not want to store anything in it, we will assign it some size. That is, so it gets automatically deleted after the soul token has been transferred. Okay, that makes sense. Then we want the donator account to sign this transaction. So this, there will be a program account created by the donator, I believe, where the amount of soul that needs to be transferred will reside. And then once the transfer happens, this temporary account gets deleted. And the transfer for this soul is going to be signed by this donator. All right, that makes sense. Okay, here are some standard checks. If the writing account owner is not the program ID, then it's error. If the donator program account owner is not the program ID, then it's an error. And if the donator is not the signer of this transaction, then it's an error. Okay, all of this makes sense. I'm just going to copy paste in the interest of time. Here we get the campaign data and we will increment the amount donated as the total amount of data donated to this campaign will increase. Yes, that makes sense. Let me write this. Mutable campaign data equal to campaign details, try from slice. Okay. Writing account dot data. This is the data that is present in the writing account. Dot borrow. I think it can only borrow because it can't. So data access seems like just borrowing the data that's present in that account. Then we say that campaign data dot amount donated plus equals donator program account, yeah, dot lamports dot borrow. Okay. So lamports that are present in this donator program account, which we have created temporarily in the front end, so we can store the amount of sol. That's how much we increment the amount donated to this campaign by. Okay. Now here is where the actual state changes are happening. The writing account lamports are increased and they are borrowed from the donator program account. Okay. And the donator program account lamports become 0 because we have given it to the writing program account. So seems like this is how the transfer is happening. This is actually a bit weird to me and it's different because I've been working with Llvm for a while. And when I don't see an actual transfer, it surprises me. Like, how is the money actually moving on chain? But it seems like it's all happening like a plus minus kind of thing. That's something we have to keep in mind. And then we write this updated data to the writing account. That what is the current state of the program. So yeah, so here, this is the main thing actually. So in the actual program account, we are borrowing the money that is there in the donator program account and we store it in this. So we are doing a plus and this person's lamports are actually becoming 0. And then this is fine. This is a standard one. We are writing it everything back to the campaign data. But yeah, this is what is surprising because this is the parallel to transfer or send or something. Interesting. Okay, so seems like we have completed our Solana program. Now we can go ahead and deploy. Are there any questions? Is everybody on the call like able to understand the program? Did you code the program on your local systems? Do you feel like there is something that's still not clear, like what's happening? About writing account. So Vishal asks, can you briefly explain about writing account? That is this account. So what they are actually saying about the writing account is writing account is the account created by the program. So and this particular account is the one which has the authority to write the state changes in the write the state changes in them. So like for example, here they have given that writing account, or we can call it as the program account. So the program itself needs to write the state changes somewhere, right? And it can't write in the contract, how we do it in Solidity. So here we have to create this account, which is called the program account or the writing account. And this is where we will write all the changes. So the writing account is the program account, which is an account that they are saying we'll create in the front end. That's probably what we're going to do next. And this account should be owned by this Solana program. That's why every time we are checking that the writing account owner should be equal to program ID. That is the owner of this program. Is this clear, Vishal? Okay, cool. All right. So let's move to the front end part. Okay, so we are going to deploy the program on Devnet. Solana programs work on a BPF system. So to be very honest, I don't know what the BPF system is, but they have something we have to go through. I think a little bit more. It's the compiler level, like how EVM, right? Ethereum virtual machine. I always compare with EVM because I come from that background. But if you don't get that context, it's completely fine. I think you can learn about this from the scratch. It's all the same. But every virtual machine will have its own instruction set. It will have its own way of functioning. For example, EVM is a stack based virtual machine. So instructions will be processed in the form of a stack, right? Stack in first and last out. That's the stack principle. So it will have its own instruction set. That is, what kind of instructions will this particular virtual machine be able to process? So here they have Solana on-chain programs are compiled via the Llvm compiler infrastructure. I don't know anything about this, to be honest, to an executable and linkable format, ELF format, and the bytecode that is generated is a variation of this, the BPF format, that is the Berkeley packet filter. However, just how this works, I don't know. But if you are very much interested, should definitely feel free to go through the Llvm compiler infrastructure, the architecture, how it works, what are the instruction set, etc. So they seem to have their own instruction set that can be executed in an interpreted virtual machine. So you can see like this is also stack based, seems like the BPF, and yeah, like you can see the different things. Slightly, from what I understand, it is based on C++. Rust itself takes a lot of principles from C++. So I think this is similar. Then since Rust has the internal memory management, they seem to have a way to work with the alloc, free, realloc, and things like that. So if you come from a C program background, which I come from, these terminologies might sound familiar, but yeah, I don't think it's required for us to kind of just deep dive into this. So here the build BPF must be a package. So cargo is the package manager, and the build BPF must be the compiler command to kind of build this program. That's what I'm assuming. So we just use this, and we will just try to build our program. I'll just save it once. Oh. Sorry. So I needed to go into the program folder to be able to do this. So this anchor kind of abstracts all this and gives you just a single command like anchor build, which will do all of this internally for you. But it's good for us to also understand like what is happening and how it is, what are the things that are happening internally. So in this command, the manifest path should be the path of the cargo.toml. That's what it is. This will output the compiled program in shared object format, that is .so format. So after this program is compiled, you will get a .so file within the program directory. That's your compiled program. So right now the compiler is actually compiling the program. So if you come from a scripting background like Python or something, it's slightly different. Python is an interpreted program. You don't compile it. You just run the Python script and then you are able to, do whatever you want to do. However, when you see complex programming languages having to deal with memory constructs, there is generally a compiler in picture. There is a very good compiler book that I'm forgetting now, but if you're interested, it could be something lucrative too. I will share that. So there are a lot of things that are happening in the background. Compiler will actually take this program. It will create these opcodes or instruct. It will convert them into instruction sets. Then instruction sets themselves are broken down and stored in a format in an object format that the compiler can understand. It's very much fun to read, but it's slightly heavier on the computer science side. Okay, so there is an error, multiple errors. Says that let's start from the top. Oh, so attributes on 185 transfer balance. I think the way I've used this is not correct. The comments, yeah. So, so I know that two are correct. Yeah, okay. Documentation comments. Seems like okay, so the documentation comments, I think it asked me to enable something where hash feature statement expression attributes to the create attributes. I don't know which create it's coming from. No such subcommand build BPF. So Vishal, have you been set up all these things? That maybe I think if you have the Rust tool chain, you should be able to, and the Solana CLI. Is there anything else that do you have both of these installed, the Solana CLI and the Rust toolchain? Just check once. Solana is there. The Rust, can you check for Rust? What is the version? Because I faced some issues because I had an older version of Rust and today only I have left it. Cannot derive, cannot find derive macro Bosch serialized in this scope. Uh, I have taken Bosch serialize. 231. This is the same macro I have inputted. Oh, I made a spelling mistake, is it? Yeah, I did. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. It's completely wrong. Bosch. German Bosch. Just Bosch. Okay, so Bosch was my issue. I fixed that. Cannot find value null in this scope. Oh, so okay. So this is okay. This is a good one. So this is a check that I remember we added ourselves that the link should not be null. Okay. So now it says that I cannot compare for null. That means string null comparison. For to do that, oh, so strings are always treated as pointers. And in order to do that, I need to import the pointer crate. This is an interesting error that we have run into. Let's see if we import this crate, does it go away? Let's keep that in mind. Cannot find pub key in the scope. Help, a structure similar name exists. Notice the capitalization 233.16. Admin pub key. Why is this an issue? Okay. Oh, so program ID is getting pub key, and okay, I think it's small, whereas I have written capital. Oh my God, such small issues, yeah, but good that compiler is doing it. If instruction data doesn't match, okay, documentation is just a warning, 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 warning. No function or associated item name try from slice found for campaign details in the current scope. What does that mean? 107. So try from slice. Okay, that's not there. So what do I need for try from slice? I think I have to import this from somewhere for U8, right? That's what it's saying. Have they not imported it? I need to import the crate. However, I don't think they have imported it here. Yeah, let's figure out how to import this crate. Try from slice. Solana SDK Bosch. Oh, no. I don't think it's coming from Bosch. I think it's directly for a structure. No function. No. Oh. No function or associated item name derived from slice found for struct campaign details in the current function or associated item help. Items on traits can only be used if the trait is implemented on in scope. Note. Perhaps you need to implement it. Candidate 1 Bosch deserialize. I don't understand. Should I define the campaign details thing above and then call the functions? Will that make a difference? I don't know. Oh, maybe because that Bosch spelling was wrong, it's not able to get that. It's possible that it's coming from Bosch. Okay, let's put a pin on that. I will save this and then I will run again now that I fixed the Bosch issue. Oh, okay. Okay. Everything else is a warning. No implementation for string. Okay, all right. Let's is empty. Okay. Empty or white space only. Let's try this. just a string, no? Why is it like dot? No, no, no. Sure. Link. All right. So small case, yes. All right. So we have successfully compiled this program. This is, let's go to instructions. Okay. So first thing is compilation. We have done that and we can deploy it. You will need the Solana CLI installed. We will create a new Solana account to deploy the program. Uh, the command will prompt you for a passphrase. Okay, I already have a Solana account, which is on Devnet. So because I have been just, so I have a Solana account, which is on, yeah, this is the account that I've been using. It's on Devnet. I think you can check using Solana config as well. Solana config get. So Solana config get. You can see that I'm already in Devnet. Users blah blah blah, keep it. Okay, this is all fine. So now because I have this, I'm going to just not. I'm going to skip this part, but feel free to do it. And but the thing is, I don't think I have enough balance. So my address has 3 sol. However, I don't know how much will be required to do this. So let's just do the deployment. I'm going to copy the same, like whatever command here it is to do the deployment. So I struggled with a really basic error today. However, because the error message was so encrypted, I did not even know what was happening. But um, in the accounts in Solana are upgradable apparently. So the cost that is actually required to store for storage, when you deploy a program, it takes a lot more from you. So for a program that required around 2 point something sol, it took me almost more than 5 sol. So the error that I had posted in the Anchor group as well is this. So the error that I faced was this. Okay, it was very cryptic. So I was not able to understand what the issue is, but I got something like this. Deploying program failed, error processing instruction 1, custom program error 0x1. So whenever you get this error processing instruction 1, custom program 0x1, that means that it's probably you don't have enough sol in your account in order to actually deploy this program, right? Because the accounts that we are creating will take some storage. So the program that I was trying to deploy was actually having a lot of accounts and a lot of storage. But this account seems like it was able to deploy with the balance that I had. We can also check how much it used. So my program ID is created. Earlier my balance was 3.16. I can check now how much this particular, okay, oh my god, you can see almost 1 point something, right? 1.4 sol has been used to actually deploy this program, and we are paying for the storage, right? So yeah, this is something we need to be like cautious about. What they're saying is we can check our program ID in the Solana Explorer for Devnet. Oh, it's already 7:30. Today we wasted a lot of time in this spammer thing. I'm going to be more conscious about this going forward. I'm so sorry. Apologies. I have deleted that tweet. Okay, so I am on Devnet. I'm going to copy this. Woo! Yes, yes, yes. Okay, something happened. Really, I don't know what has happened, but all right. So this is a transaction signature, and we can see that it took about how much did it take? That's not given. No, how much soul did it take to actually do this? Might be something interesting. Because it took a bit. It took like what, 1.4. That's like $150. Uh, Transaction fee might be less, but to deploy the program and create the accounts, we are paying a bomb for storage, right? It seems surprising to me. All right. This is the part where I want to cordially hand over to Sweta. Sweta, are you there? Yes. Can't unmute. Are you? I'm so sorry. How do I? Oh wait. Like, uh, are you facing like a like a Zoom issue to unmute? Oh, yeah, I'm trying to unmute you, but I don't know how. Oh, just like so. Host has to give access. Yeah, I want to give you access. How? Okay, Shweta, I'm gonna make you the host. Are you able to unmute yourself now?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Yeah, you want to take over the front end part because I think you'll be better at explaining the components than me. For sure.
Yeah, I can. But are we continuing the session now? Like it's 7:34 already.
Yeah, but I wanted to finish this crowdfunding. Yeah, this already it took 2 sessions, but ज़्यादा code लग रहा है.
Yeah, what we can do is like if we have already done the Solana part.
Should we just give this as homework?
Yeah.
Nobody will do
So
except
it's
us.
better. It's better because it's front end, right? So in front end, I guess people will be able to go through it, and whatever doubts you have, post it in the group, and we are there.
Okay, then let's do like that
Yeah.
because I
So
think
that in
most
the next
people are
session,
good at
we
that.
start with the messenger app. We will be developing a messaging app in the next session.
Yeah, I think because most people are good at front end, so yeah, except me.
Yeah. Actually, people are more familiar with the front end stuff
Yeah.
than the Solana, so it's better they can handle the front end thing themselves. If they have any doubts, any kind of doubt, feel free to post in the Telegram group. We are happy to solve anything.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's do it. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Then, all right, folks. Then, as Sweta suggested, let's take that route. We will finish this off on our end. Maybe if anybody is interested to pair program, I'll probably be open to it. Doing like a pair programming session, but I don't know when. Most probably Friday because Thursday we have a meetup in Bangalore and Wednesday is tomorrow, so we already don't know. But yeah, I'm open to doing that, and then we can take this forward. All right. Okay. All right. Thanks everyone. So uh, we will catch up next Tuesday, and we will start with the messaging app the next time.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Thanks,
Thank
folks.
you.
Thanks for
Thank you,
joining.
everyone. Bye
And
bye.
yeah, bye.